welcome to Dogs Brewing List. I'm Gabriel Carter, your host. My guest today is Mighty Mike McGee.
Hi.
He is a spoken word artist and a slam poet of world famous proportions. Hello, Mike. Welcome to Dogs Breakfast.
Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome.
I'm stoked.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's dive right in, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you find surprising in people?
I would have to say I find those moments of compassion, especially between strangers, where you'll be on the street and someone will just show just an incredible amount of compassion. And I'm not talking about like here you go, you see a man sitting on the street with his dog and a sign that says they need help or food or money or what have you, and somebody comes up and says, here's $5 because Jesus would want it this way. Not like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like just genuine, you see 5 cars pull over to help someone with a flat tire.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
That sort of community.
It always surprises me, especially when you see it in areas, especially when you see it in like really impoverished areas. Mm-hmm. It's like a bunch of people who have very little helping someone else out who has even less.
Awesome.
I love that.
Beautiful. And that I might actually piggyback a question down that, with that beautiful answer. Tell me what a paradigm shift is for you from your younger self to your older self.
Confidence.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. Confidence, self-esteem. Like I grew up with spina bifida, deformation of the spine. Because of it, I was born with very severe nerve damage around my lower abdomen. Because of it, I have no bladder control. So I've lived my entire life wearing adult diapers. When you're a kid wearing diapers, when you're 12, doesn't make you feel good, It really, really does a doozy on your self-esteem, And then to have kids also then call you diaper boy or shit pants or,
kids.
Yeah, kids.
Yeah.
Mean kids,
Fucking kids, yeah.
That then helped build up my sense of humor.
Yeah.
I became sort of a class clown.
Yeah.
And I was able to really defend myself. By the time I hit 9th grade, 10th grade, no one could handle me. You know what I mean? Like it was like, okay, yeah, I might wear diapers, but here are 9,000 things you now have to deal with about yourself that I'm going to point out and publicize.
We call it level up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like kids were no match for my tongue after a while, and that paradigm shift was huge. And I realized, luckily, instead of becoming a bully and bullying my bullies, I made friends with them.
Yeah.
And they realized, wow, he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. This guy's all right for a fat dude who pisses himself. He's all right.
It's okay for a diaper boy,
Yeah. He's all right. That guy's all right.
If you were going to time travel, what era would you go to?
Oh, I think about this all the time.
I hope so.
Part of me wants to go to a space where, there's just no other humans. Where it's just me. I'm the only human.
Yes.
So that's a big one. But then I also really want to see the turn of the century, 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see 1900. I would love to see that.
Any particular place in 1900?
New York.
Yeah.
New York in 1900. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
Where here we are we can build a building that has more than 11 floors in it now.
Extra.
Yeah.
Hey, mister.
I just saw a poster recently that showed the Washington Monument, which is 500 feet or something like that, when that was the tallest building in the world. The tallest man-made structure in the world was the Washington Monument. This poster, it's we've gone so far beyond that. But I would love to see sort of that era of early industrial revolution sort of technologies and society, to see how crazy the world was at that time. Then I would also like to see the 60s and the 70s for some reason. I don't want to see the 50s. I have no interest in seeing the 50s, but I would love to see the 60s. I want to see people micro mini skirts.
I get very snarky, on the same page, I get very snarky when people sort of romanticize the 50s. The separate water fountains, or
Yeah,
which
exactly.
right?
Well, I mean, and you think about time travel, like it only benefits white men. There is no period of time. I mean, unless you're like, unless you're going back to your own country, maybe then. But then you're not speaking the language they're speaking.
Yeah.
So you're weird. Like you basically have to keep your mouth shut. If you go back in time, you go back to England 1600s. People are gonna wonder what is wrong with you.
I should have prefaced the question. Powerful white man. If you could go back to any time in history where the world is your oyster, where would you go?
Privileged man of whiteness. North American whiteness.
I would go to Cambridge, Massachusetts, where I'm sure there's plenty of white things going on.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. But I'm glad you think of time travel.
I do, a lot. I had a great conversation recently about all the best time travel movies. Like the ones that, maybe there's some flaws, but they get it right.
Yeah.
And Primer is a good example. It's a good one. It's a good movie. And even though Back to the Future has a lot of flaws, man, that movie is awesome. The trilogy.
We just watched the trilogy.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's
so damn good.
So good.
Stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your favorite author?
Mark Twain.
Okay. Oh, see, look at this is some serendipitous shit. Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, he's America's first humorist.
Yes.
He really is. He's America's first humorist, and he nails it. And he's not perfect, but the dude was pretty bold. He was willing to say unpopular things. And then I find out, after already loving him and the way he tells a story is so good. There are authors who have a hard time keeping themselves out of a story, especially a novel, and he did a great job of keeping himself out of stories.
Have you read The Man Who Came to Hadleyburg?
I did not. No, I've not read that. I should.
That was a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it about?
His towards the latter end of his life, his daughter died, and he was understandably upset about this.
Yeah.
And so he wrote the story called The Man Who Came to Hadleyburg. It's a good one. My next question, check this out. If you were to pick, if you were to pick a lattice of thought or a thought tree or an ostensible energetic state of being, let's say for a week's time, whose mind would you want to experience or be in? And I said Mark Twain, Dostoevsky, or Jonathan Swift.
Oh yeah, Twain.
Definitely Twain.
Twain, yeah. I mean, Dostoevsky would be interesting in that it would be definitely a life that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
It would be an experience that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
It would be probably harrowing in some ways. They do this poetry slam competition in Germany called a Dead or Alive slam. What they do is they get contemporary poets, current living slam poets, to compete against actors portraying dead authors.
Oh wow!
And they do it in a head-to-head, so they'll have Dieter von Stupenflower, versus.
I like his work.
Yeah. Oh, he's so good. He's so good the way he stoops them flowers.
Just Google that.
Yeah. Versus I don't know. E. Cummings,
Right.
Yeah. And I went up. It was Mighty Mike McGee versus Dostoevsky.
Ooh.
And granted, they're in German, even though he's Russian. The actor portraying Dostoevsky was phenomenal.
That's wow, what an amazing concept.
Prison rags, just this gaunt makeup, full makeup, everything
TV looking.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Wow.
He kicked my ass in the slam. He won. Ended up winning the entire slam because he was so good. Yeah. And the dead usually beat the living in these slams.
Yeah.
Because it's
it's the only respectful thing to do.
Right, yeah. Don't let poets win anything. Don't give poets trophies. You'll give them ideas and they'll keep doing it.
I know. And this is the one that the question I was talking about. What is a poignant, loving act to you?
Selflessness in any, I mean, it's so hard for humans to be selfless, to be truly selfless. It's like when you feed someone, it's not just because you love them, it's because you want, in some ways, even in a tiny way, you want credit.
Yeah.
So anything that requires the least amount of selfishness, you know, and so, I mean, a loving act to me is giving your life for something, you know, and you can give your life by saying, well, I'm going to die so this person can live, or like literally just dedicating all of your time to ensuring the survival of others. And I don't know, I mean, we know, you can picture nursing. Mm-hmm. Nursing. Anyone who becomes a nurse is doing one of the most loving things they could possibly do with their time. Yeah. Because you are cleaning up piss and blood and other things.
Seeing people at their absolute worst.
And trying to pick them up at the same time. Trying to like, you know, like, yeah, this, I know it sucks for you, but hey, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And here's some Jell-O, you know.
You got that, world of nurses? Mighty Mike McGee.
I love nurses.
What is your relationship with technology?
I love it. I get so frustrated with myself because I have an Android phone. I have an iPhone 4 that I use as an iPod. I have a Nexus tablet and a MacBook Pro that I carry on me at all times. Does that answer your question?
Definitively.
Yeah. Okay, but you're asking someone who grew up in Silicon Valley.
This is true.
Like you get like in the 70s, they sent you an Apple computer, Tide, and the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album as free samples. You know, like here's the thing. It's called a Mac. It's called an Apple computer. I know.
By the way, have you noticed? For instance, you know, the new phone or a couple of phones back. I don't know. I like technology, but
it's a thing.
I'm kind of a little bit of a love it. Yeah. But you know, they call it the Nexus 5. That's from Blade Runner. And then they have another one that this guy, this scientist in Japan, created this exoskeleton called Ow.
Yeah.
And then no shit, he called his company Cyberdyne Systems. So at this point, they're just.
Did he really?
I
have a Cyberdyne Systems mug.
Yeah.
But it's got the logo from Terminator.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I know.
It's like they want, it's art imitating life, imitating art.
I know.
Right? I had a band.
Yeah.
And there were 3 of us.
Yeah.
And I loved the word echo, so I called us Echo 3.
Yeah.
And then watched Star Wars again, not realizing that Luke's Hoth base code name was Echo 3. Echo 3 to Echo Base.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Oh, really? I'm like, oh, but there's some samples there.
Yeah. And then this will be the last question.
Okay.
I know this is a bit obscenely open-ended, but and you've touched upon it a little bit, but it's like you do this for a living or something.
Yeah.
What has been cathartic in your work?
Oh. I think exploring loneliness. That's a huge theme of mine when I write. Now, granted, I started out doing stand-up and fell into poetry as a stand-up comic. And the beauty of it is being able to. You look really good, by the way. Like you're doing a great job on it. Awesome. Before, as the interview started, I was kind of like, I don't know. But now I'm really glad. I'm really glad we ended up here.
It was in your writer that you only get interviewed by very, very good-looking people. I noticed.
Yeah. And so this one, I was really like, kind of dumbing down on this one. So. I really explore loneliness, which is something that is really hard to do as a comedian. Because you're allowed to make people think, you're allowed to make people feel something, but man, they better laugh when you do it. And so it's been interesting as a poet to be able to explore that while also trying to make people laugh at the same time. I call myself a stand-up poet for a reason. And so my theme of really exploring loneliness is that I'm realizing just how many different types of loneliness there are, and I think that two of the biggest ones are lack of companionship is one version of loneliness, which is solved by dating, and loving yourself enough to go love someone else. There's that loneliness, and that's not the one that I for a long time I confused them, and I thought I will write love poems, and then people will fall in love with me, and then I won't be lonely. And then I realized I need to start writing more love poems to myself, in a sense. I need to explore what it is I want, because the other loneliness, the one that I'm really actually more interested in, is where the hell do I belong in the universe? What is my purpose here? Why am
like existential?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And so, yeah. Did that answer the question?
Beautifully.
I hope so, because I just didn't want it to sound lonely.
Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, dude. Man.
Cheers. Bye, folks.
Fickle sits up in the trees and looks down in wonder at all that she sees. She takes it all in, and then, with a grin, she closes her eyes just to catch a few Z's. The creature known as Wixelflint just sits and watches crickets. It doesn't cost him anything. No service fees or tickets. Day and night he watches them for hours back to back. And when his belly starts to growl, he has one for a snack. The goth mind thinks of somber songs and all things dark and gray. But just how dark, we'll never know, because he doesn't say.
Ladies and gentlemen, the population drops. next person of the hour is Nina Simone. I'm Gabriel Carter. This is Nhi Do, and we'll see you around the bend.